It's a bit of a late video tonight, my friends. This is more like a recap because we have some big surprising news that went down today, as well as today being the day pre-season officially begins. So I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to catch my other big upload where I discuss the story of Willian, another type of new format I'm looking to introduce to the channel. I hope you guys enjoy, and very quickly, I would love if you guys can help support the Blue Lions TikTok channel. At the moment, I have around 8,030 followers. I'm trying to get to 10k before this month finishes. Hopefully you guys can help me make this dream happen. I'd really appreciate you guys. It would mean quite a lot. And you'll find, of course, links to my TikTok in the card above and description. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's discuss today's latest reports. Now, very brief news on Javi Simmons, but interestingly, we have finally agreed the personal terms with Simmons. In the meantime, we've got full confidence from the player and his team that they want to come here, they want to sign for us. We don't have to worry about other teams sneaking in and trying to secure him away from us. We've got all the type of verbals we need right now to make this type of move and deal happen. So that is a big positive. Obviously, the news is the same old story, right? We need to prioritize exits and sales first before we can get this deal done. Now, more times, it's not even about us not having the money necessarily to fund the move. We have the money, we can do it right now. But you guys got to think about the transfer strategy, right? Because deep this for a second, yeah. Imagine we spent all summer buying all our targets right now in the first half of the window, and in the second half of the window, we're looking to sell players on. We'd be undermining our negotiation position if we were desperately trying to sell as many players on after funding moves for their replacements. And other clubs will catch on to that. They won't give us the money that we want, and that will hurt us more in the long term. With the added responsibility that we need to get good money and generate strong sales from players from last season's Conference League squads to ensure that new signings this summer can be registered for the Champions League for next season. You can understand the position the club are in and why we're moving patiently and responsibly. That's why, for more the talks of us maybe being in the market to maybe break the window for like your Rodrigos or Isaks if those opportunities came, it seems like we clearly just kind of ventured away from that type of business. And you know what? I think how I perceive that news here, I think the big signings was more Todd Boehly, he is on those types of moves. That's what he's here for. But Igbali and the directors are thinking, you know what, let's be a bit more sustainable. And I guess all the reports I'll be discussing today kind of reflect this strategy more, right? So Javi Simmons, of course, let's remain patient for this guy. Things will be coming in for him soon. But my friends, let's discuss one of the other updates that's coming through right now. And we discussed the latest on Carney Chukweumeka, because finally, Dortmund are making movements right now to try and sign him on, positive news, a permanent deal. Romano confirms this today. Negotiations between Dortmund and ourselves are for a permanent move for Chukweumeka. We aren't on sending this guy on loan. We do not want that. We want big money for him. Now, in terms of the valuation, this is where things are going to get a little bit techy, you guys, because we have slapped on like a 40 mil euro valuation. That's around like 35 million pounds, which might be too much for Dortmund at this point in time. From Dortmund's perspective, it's pretty simple. Listen, we're excited by this kid's talent. We'd love to keep him here. The player himself wants to be here. We know that Leipzig and other clubs have expressed an interest for his services, but he wants to remain at Dortmund in an environment where he's feeling comfortable right now. So they're down for this move, but the reality is that Carney isn't that guy that can play full 90 minutes. He's not done that at Dortmund. The fact that this move is back on is hopeful, and I don't think we should ruin this opportunity, because we're not going to see a club coming out from anywhere outside of a Saudi club who are going to offer us anywhere near that type of money. Hopefully we can strike a fair balance for this deal. Interestingly, some reports are allegedly saying that Dortmund may in fact try to make a loan move, but this time it would come with an obligation to buy at the end. Now with obligations, a lot of times this could be activated by a certain amount of minutes, a certain amount of appearances, etc, etc. But with the system that Dortmund use, you'd imagine that Chukweumeka will get a lot of game time playing as an 8 or an attacking mid. So there's a lot of synergy here that makes quite a bit of sense. I'm hoping for Carney's sake this move goes through for him. It feels a little bit surreal that he is kind of just being moved on without us even really seeing like the full Chukweumeka show. And you know, it's really frustrating when injuries come in and get these guys at the wrong time. But I think with our football club now, bro, one injury and that could just be the difference between you being here and getting kicked out. It's mad, it's brutal, but you know, it's this survival of the fittest mentality that the club feel is the most efficient way for us to grow and improve in the medium to long term. So share your thoughts and opinions, but positive news is Dortmund now are getting closer now to striking a deal for Chukweumeka. So my friends, let's now move on to discussing some of the big news currently surrounding pre-season. Now, positive news, you guys, but today officially marks the day that pre-season begins. Been a long time coming, but the players have now returned. I'm going to go to the club's website. We're seeing some interesting things in terms of surprise players who are taking part in pre-season. I think one of the big ones everyone's really waiting for now is the fact that Mr. Willian is in Cobham and he is in our training gear. That is really exciting news. I'm really happy for that. It does seem like the club probably want to like give him his full dues and really do like a mad media campaign for tomorrow, I'd imagine. I think all of us expected Esteval to be announced in some capacity. This is why this video came out so late. I was expecting maybe some big pre-season media dump to be released today. It wasn't the case, but we know that Esteval is in London. He is in Cobham, he is taking part in pre-season training, and I've got a few videos coming out over the next few days talking about Esteval and all things pre-season, so you guys make sure you stay tuned for that one. But in the meantime, let's look at some of the photos that's emerging from the club's website, and we're seeing some familiar faces back here. As we can see, hovering behind Tosin, Wesley Fofana, of course, you know, thank God, is actually taking part on the first day of pre-season. Now, when he took his surgery near the end, before the season ended, they did that in full confidence that he would be back in time. So it's great that there's no setbacks, that he is back. And I think for Wesley Fofana, this will end up being probably his biggest season at Chelsea. I feel like if he's out for another season with injuries, I don't think the club are going to be spending like too much time with him anymore or caring too much. I think that could be the end for him, in my opinion. So, you know, big things need to happen for Wesley. You know, I look at this guy sometimes, man, and I think when you've missed out on 3 years of football like this, his development has really been hurt by that. And even though he's like 24, 25, his football age is still like 21. I think that's why you see maybe certain rawness in his game. But that pure potential, you know, there's a reason why the club had big faith and hopes on him. And hopefully, you know, touch wood, God willing, if this guy doesn't pick up any devastating injuries again and can play consistently, I feel like he has the potential to try and regain some of that lost time that's kept him out. So let's hope that Fofana can come big, because ideally, I'd rather see these guys doing good now compared to going back into the market to sign another defender. Obviously, I had to kind of skim through some of these photos, but Robert Sanchez is already training. Excellent Club World Cup campaign. Career high performance against Paris Saint-Germain. Let's hope that this is the new Sanchez right now. I'm getting a bit scared because it seems like his hair's coming back. Yeah, I don't know about that one, Sanchez. If I have to take it all off me. Joao Pedro in Cobham right now. Now, for me, I'm biased. You guys know I've wanted this guy for a minute, but he's probably like my signing of this summer. Everything I saw from him, that little taster, that little glimpse we saw from this guy during the Club World Cup, you know, I've envisioned what he could do here, how he could play, and how he could operate alongside better players. And I'm not going to lie, I feel super validated. And I feel like this guy's going to surprise a lot of Premier League fans next season in terms of how good he is and the levels that this guy can still grow and get up to. That's the exciting thing around him. The fact that he's already won silverware before he's even, taken a foot in Cobham kind of says it all. Andre Santos, let's see what happens with this guy, man. Oh, it's going to be a very hard season for Santos, with Simmons coming through, other offensive players potentially taking the priority, and you're fighting Caicedo, Lavia, Enzo Fernandez. You got Ugochukwu behind you. Getting first team minutes for those 10 outfield positions won't be easy for Andre Santos. So let's hope he can do something. Trevor Chalobah, yep, this guy's he's a European class defender. I'm glad he's finally getting his dues. We wasn't respecting this guy enough, but yeah, this guy, top player, and he's the type of guys that you should always keep in your squad in the long term, because in reality, you actually spend more money replacing squad players like Chalobah's compared to, reinvesting into signing a first team player, because you kind of get expected guarantees. But with the squad guys, they might last a season or two, and then you have to sell them and get someone else in, and then repeat that cycle. Whereas you can just keep a Chalobah, and you know what you're expecting, what you're getting from him, and how they accept their place in the team as well. And I think that's a key thing to have, right? Maresca, of course, enforcing his ideas. I love the fact that the players seem pretty confident about their chances this season. I know Malo Gusto was saying, listen, man, we've won a few things now, but we can go even further. We have bigger aspirations, and that's always exciting to hear. Neto is really stepping up right now. Our captain in Reece James. I don't think long term will be the captain. I think we have a few guys underneath him that will get there. I'm looking at Levi Cole in particular. I feel like one day you're going to see some captaincy role in some capacity. Moises Caicedo, man, whatever we do this season, it will come down to Moises. And listen, I always touch wood and pray that he is the guy that never gets injured, yeah? Because, bro, someone like him, we saw what we did against Paris Saint-Germain. But you have someone like this in your team. For me, they're like the real key guys behind winning and achieving your aspirations and being pretenders. So yeah, superb signing, and it's great to see the players full fitness, good confidence. Of course, Jamie Gittins as well too. Really interesting to see what he does this season, especially as he'll have some competition with Alejandro Garnacho. It won't be as simple, and there will be those interesting debates. I saw some of you guys' opinions in yesterday's video around, this survival of the fittest mentality, where you could get Garnacho and Gittins already fighting it out for like a limited spot in the team already. And is that the most beneficial way at times to get the best out of these expensive assets? You tell me. Achimpong, hopefully this guy gets looked at more. For me, I hope he becomes our future centre back. I think the guy is that good, and I hope he gets more opportunities to get tested for sure. Jorgensen, Evil Saka. Bro, come back with a new drip completely with the braids right now and the twist. That's that's crazy. But yeah, he's clearly getting ready for his potential move into Europe, right? AS Roma, another club expressing interest in him. The caliber of clubs looking at Tyreek George. A lot of times, us Chelsea fans are so used to seeing an abundance and influx of talents coming out from Cobham that I think we just kind of unconsciously tell ourselves, 3 or 5 of these guys are sick, but surely we're not that greedy and we got even more talent behind them. But the academy regularly keeps proving us wrong every single time, because the depth of player and talent we produce, I think, is a lot stronger and deeper than us fans even realize. Because if Tyree goes, as I said in yesterday's video, he ain't going for 10 million. This is like 20-25 mil straight. Cucurella, great to see him. Cole Palmer, whatever we do, Cole Palmer himself is going to be key. But yeah, man, it's great to see the guys returning back. We got some big preseason friendlies coming up against Leverkusen and Inter Milan. So yeah, it's going to be a massive month in August. So I hope you guys stay locked in on Blue Lions TV. So let me know in the comments right now, what's one expectation or prediction you have in our little mini preseason period right now? Give us your thoughts and opinions below. But now let's move on to discussing some of the big reports coming out today. And we have some interesting news surrounding Leslie Ugochukwu, because we've learned that he has now agreed and engineered a move now to Burnley, which is insane. It kind of took us all by surprise today. Ugochukwu had, he kind of started to get back a bit stronger for Southampton in the second half of the season, right? But as I've been saying quite a lot of times, man, at this football club now, it clearly is a case of survival of the fittest. I use this example all the time. The example of, battle royale, Hunger Games mentality, where youth will be fighting it out just to have a chance to stay here again. And we're seeing some of the casualties or the players who have lost their battles. And listen, even me, what I'm saying sounds a bit strong, considering that did these guys even really get like the biggest opportunities to begin with? Like, let's keep it real. Did they really even get that? No. But for whatever reason, if an injury comes at the wrong time, that seems to be the biggest decisive thing that can kind of just like curtail hopes. But regardless, reports today reveal that we have given permission now to Burnley to allow Ugochukwu to take his medical. So that's interesting news right there. He's going to be joining Armando Broja. And the fact that we bagged 40 million for both of them. Listen, you got to respect the businessman. Like, you can't be getting, like, however you feel, you can't be, you got to respect the fact that we're getting big money for these guys. Fair enough, say less. Let's not forget too that we did sell Bashir Humphreys to Burnley as well. So in total, we've made around 52 million from one football club for our talents. So yeah, it's refreshing. It's good to know. And for me, this transfer policy, we do what we do because there is no point maybe holding on to an asset. And listen, I don't like calling players or human beings assets. I'm just speaking from the club's perspective, right? But I think the club clearly feel that if a player doesn't have a chance of breaking into the team, having like a long-term future here, there is really no point in keeping them on the books and then giving them like another season or two to see if they can turn things around. When their value is high and hot, take advantage right now and sell, because you're more likely to get a really good deal, right? Compared to, playing the hopeful game and then getting nothing in the end. So that's one way things have been working out for us, right? On the other hand, though, if I was to add to the point I'm making, I do also feel like the club maybe are forced to maybe sell a bit more than they originally wanted to, because they do have FFP concerns and other responsibilities that they have to abide to. So I think for maybe interesting players like a Vega or an Ugochukwu, announcing the timelines, if our finances was on point, they probably would have remained here a little bit longer before we decided to cash in on them, right? But that wasn't to be the case. And listen, now that we've shown that we're a team that's ready to win and we're soon ready to start competing, you can't affect the momentum right now. You have to build from it, and I think you have to focus on the players who are kind of producing that right now. I think we've slowed down on this type of Ugochukwu type of deals, right? I think that's what Strasbourg are there for. I think the last one was probably Mugu, and we actually even sold him back to Strasbourg, cashing in on him. So yeah, the money is coming in like crazy right now. And I guess maybe, even though we can have our own opinions on the strategy of treating young players like this, focusing on the business solely, at least, these guys are getting moved straight away. We're cashing on their value while it's hot and while it's high, and we're using that to reinvest back into the team. So share your thoughts and opinions on Ugochukwu's sale, my friends. And now let's end things with the final big story today. And Dewsbury Hall is set to go to Everton, as we have accepted a 25.9 million plus 4 million add-on deal for the sale of Dewsbury Hall. Now, this was the big surprise and news that none of us was expecting, but I guess on paper it made the most sense. Yeah, man, it's kind of crazy. I know that from the fan base perspective, a lot of people had a lot of respect for Dewsbury Hall. I think he had respect for how he tried, how he got better, or slightly better during the second half of the season, how he had his own particular moments too in the Conference League, and even the goal that he scored against Benfica, and he seemed to be like a likable character within the squad as well. And I think he kind of had a little soft spot for most fans at our football club, right? But the reality came down to two things, or three things actually. One, we have to sell a lot of our Conference League registered players, because those profits are used for FFP in Europe. So Dewsbury Hall is one of the prime players to sell right now, as his value in stock is high. And listen, we signed for 30 million last season, but we did also include that youth player who I'm forgetting right now, the light-skinned kid, for around 5 million. So that reduced things a little bit overall. And once you kind of minus things like the player costs for the year, we're still getting like a really good book value from his sale to Everton. For the second reason, Dewsbury Hall wants to get more game time and more consistent minutes. Now, the BBC article reveals that initially he was reluctant to leave Stamford Bridge, but I think obviously when the offers are good, we're going to accept them. And I think the reality is that Dewsbury Hall knows that he'll find it even harder to get the game time he wants for next season. I mean, last season in the league, he only got around 259 minutes, made 2 starts, 11 sub appearances, and during the time when our midfield was a bit light, he wasn't even regularly being rotated in the team at the time. And I think that kind of tells you where he was in the food chain within the squad last season. So it's good for him that he was able to kind of show up a little bit more. But in my opinion, I might sound a bit harsh and mad, I kind of always predicted that this would be his future. I think I even said when we signed him last year, he'll probably get sold the year after, to keep things real. I can see why he had to get signed for FFP reasons, of course. No, PSR, profit and sustainability reasons. All the clubs were doing schemes together to ensure that their books were strong, and this is why you saw these types of moves. The signing of Dewsbury Hall also allowed us to get Enzo Maresca as well, and that's why things was kind of smooth sailing in that sense. But now that we have stronger players in the team, Andre Santos here, Sugo, plus we're set to get Javi Simmons and Garnacho as well. I mean, even if you kept him here as a squad player, what would be the point? What would be the value of the utility behind doing that, right? Because he'll get even less minutes than what he got last season, which was only 555 minutes. That's like less. That's like what? If 10 starts is like 900 minutes, he got like less than half of that. So it's not great, and the chances of him getting more minutes, the amount of talent we have right now, you have to sell him at this value whilst teams want him. And I think going to Everton, a team that are really being strategic in the market, signing Tiano Barry, they're looking to get Tyler Dibblings from Southampton, they sign Alcaraz on a permanent deal, Decore's left. I think that Dewsbury Hall is going to a club on the rise, that he definitely play his best football position in and earn probably even better money than what he's on here with us right now. So appreciate his services, and yeah, good luck in his career from next season. So my friends, that's all the recap of today's news. Share your thoughts and opinions, and I will catch you guys tomorrow with more videos. Love. Cool.